Hi, my name is Jamison Ervin, and I'm manager of UNDP's Nature for Development program. We aim to position nature at the heart of sustainable development. I'd like to start by talking about the vision. We know that nature contributes to the Sustainable Development Goals. It underwrites at least half of the Sustainable Development Targets, and it also is worth at least $44 trillion in the global economy for global GDP. We know that nature-based solutions are incredibly important for our planet and for people. Nature-based solutions help our planet thrive. We are confronted with a four-part planetary emergency, including nature loss, climate change, inequality, and more recently, infectious diseases. We also know from the Global Risks Report that loss of biodiversity and climate change are the top two drivers of many of the other global risks. We have a central challenge ahead of us, which is that planning occurs in silos. And we often hear from many countries the same story, which is that planning occurs in agriculture, in transportation, in environment, in water, in health, and they're not connected. So we have an idea that we think can help with this. We see spatial data as a key element to help us bring together different agencies and develop a reference point for biodiversity. Spatial data helps us unify national priorities and identify solutions for nature-based solutions that integrate many of the problems we see in a siloed planning approach. UNDP has created and is supporting the UN Biodiversity Lab in partnership with many other partners. Spatial data enables us to precisely locate where we need to protect and restore and sustainably manage nature in order to achieve our sustainable development goals. Planning for nature traditionally involves looking at traditional elements of nature protection, including the ecosystem integrity or persistence of species. This is classic biodiversity planning, which we've seen around the world for the last 20 or 30 years. It's planning for nature, for species, and for ecosystems. But we asked ourselves, what if we asked a different question? What if we asked, where do we need to protect and restore and sustainably manage nature for water security or risk reduction from disasters? We would come up with very different answers. And if we asked ourselves, where do we need to protect and restore and manage nature for food security or for sustainable livelihoods, we'd come up with even different answers. And for climate change, we know that nature is at least 38% of our climate mitigation solution. So if we asked ourselves, where do we need to protect and manage and restore nature for climate change, we'll have a whole new set of spatial priorities. What if we're able to combine these data sets into one single map for a country that looks at where we need to protect, manage, and restore nature for biodiversity, for climate mitigation and adaptation, for sustainable development, and more. This was the first map that we helped create for Costa Rica. It has since evolved quite a bit based on the expert opinion of over 100 people in Costa Rica. The vision is that we can help you accomplish the same task. We can help you identify where must you protect, manage, and restore to achieve your goals for biodiversity, for climate, and sustainable development. We've created a system that allows you to dial up and dial down different values. So if disaster risk reduction is important, you can elevate that issue. If carbon sequestration is important, you can elevate that. You choose, you're in the driver's seat, and we enable you to set the values and determine what's important. Each country will have its own set of customized priorities. We use mapping to help identify how we can do dynamic monitoring. We use the UN Biodiversity Lab to identify a 10-meter resolution map of the planet of land use and land cover. This is best in the class data that we can deliver to you for absolutely no cost whatsoever. I'd like to talk about the impact we hope to have. We have 5 pilot countries: Colombia, Costa Rica, Kazakhstan, Peru, and Uganda. These countries are now in the tail end of creating their map of essential life support areas. We found that each country has a unique angle on what's most important for them. In Colombia, the angle or the key issue is water security. In Costa Rica, it's decarbonization, building down climate. In Kazakhstan, it's food security. In Peru, it's about green recovery to COVID and green prosperity, putting indigenous peoples at the heart of green recovery. In Uganda, it's about security and well-being and prevention from disaster risk reduction. And in fact, Uganda is using the map as the basis for their 5-year development plan. We're now in discussions with another 6 countries, including Haiti, Cambodia, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, Nepal, and South Africa. These countries were also possibly adding Chile, with the ideas that we'll have a dozen countries who will have piloted this process and learned from it, and then help the next rollout for countries. We already have a long list of countries who have asked for support in this area. We hope to help them too. So what's next? Really, this is in your hands. We need to know what's most important for you. We'll be identifying what are your key policy objectives? What is your vision? And how can the spatial data help you achieve them? Is it reduction of risks? Is it green recovery? Is it ecotourism? Is it health? We will also be looking at how this process can provide an integrated approach to the biodiversity framework post-2020. The Global Biodiversity Strategic Plan from 2010 to 2020 has completed, and now the world is developing a new strategic plan from 2021 through 2030. And we hope that this process can help identify how to integrate it into that plan. I want to thank you very much for your attention and for your interest. We are here to support you, and we hope that, and we're confident that the process will enable you to create your own map of hope, your own map of essential life support areas that can achieve all of your nature-dependent development goals. Thank you so much.